Let's look at the moves. Baker, what was that? This is not FPL. This is a major.
We're back. Welcome to Hotkeys Esports, the coolest esports podcast on the planet. We're like Brat, but orange. I'm one of your hosts, Dobon. To the right,
hell yeah,
we always have Antonio Prater. How's it going?
What good? Welcome, man, to another episode of Hotkeys Esports, your second favorite channel that is orange, and the only one not made by Frank Ocean.
Very true. No, I don't listen to Frank Ocean all that much. I checked out Blonde the other day. Somebody recommended it to me, and
bro,
I think it's pretty solid.
What did you think? Okay,
It's like pretty like artsy fartsy, but like it's fine, you know.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I like Channel Orange. I was like very half and half on Blonde. The Andre 3000 song on Blonde is like 10 out of 10. Like
love Andre though.
Yeah, exactly. So like obviously 10 out of 10. But yeah, I'm also kind of on Blonde.
It fills the same niche that like a Brockhampton fills, in my opinion.
I can see that.
So like you take current, or I guess new Tyler, Frank Ocean, and Brockhampton, you kind of just throw them all in the same basket. Like the same kind of person likes all that music, so it's not my vibe.
I was saying I don't want to talk to him at a party.
They know who they are. They're wearing overalls right now, in any pastel color. You know who you are.
Overall floral print shirt.
There's nothing wrong with that, because what are the three rules for hotkeys? What's our mantra?
Our mantra, the three most key points to Hotkeys Esports is passion, mental, and then hands. Hands is number 3. It's always number 3.
Yes, sir. So as long as you got that, it doesn't matter what you listen to. It doesn't matter how you dress.
True.
You know,
you have passion first, mental second, and maybe hands third.
And maybe hands. Sometimes if you're playing a card game, you don't even need hands.
Hands off. Well,
swipe with the nose, baby. Swipe with the nose.
You need a good starting hand.
Fair enough. That's good. That's good. I like what you did there.
I play combo decks. It's real important. The mulligan matters a lot.
The mulligan does matter. Man, I would just keep making music. I have a Hot Mulligan thing lined up after that. Shout out Hot Mulligan. That guy's sick. Anyways.
Yeah.
It's a band, but the guy's cool. Anyways, on topic, esports.
Back to it. Locking in.
A lot going on. Not really. Kind of, but not a lot.
We're kind of at the end. There's a lot of future.
Yeah, we're in a dry season right now.
Where people
tournaments are ending.
Their 2 months. They're like 2 months of vacation.
Yeah, Worlds ended. What, last week?
Last week, 2 weeks ago. It
Something
feels
like that.
Eternity already.
Yeah, that tournament feels like an eternity. Holy shit. We had the ending of Dream League Season 24 for Dota today, and I looked at the standings across like the season, because I've been saying DPC this whole time. DPC no longer exists. Let me preface this. It just feels like the right thing to say, because it's the competitive circuit of Dota, but it's not named anything anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, it's whatever.
That's kind of odd. It just doesn't have a name now.
They dissolved the DPC in like 2022, 23 or something like that, because like it was like a weird point system, and I guess people just didn't like it. So we have essentially what's the same thing, but without as many Valve sponsored events. Now it's just TI.
That's interesting.
So, but we got ESL Bangkok to look forward to. Shout out Thailand.
Yeah.
Pam, hit my line. Falcons.
Yeah. Give me the goods.
Falcons is carrying this season. They're just a steamroller. I had it up on the Wikipedia page, and then I looked up the wrong thing on that tab, and now it's Kez. We're gonna talk about Kez because Kez is fun. Kez is great. But what is it?
I'm excited to talk about Kez.
So you're getting all the tippy taps from my keyboard now.
I don't hear shit. You're fine.
Goated. All right, so we have ESL One Bangkok 2024 Dota tournament. It's great. 4 qualified teams so far with
Falcons.
Falcons, BetBoom, Spirit, and Paravision. BetBoom just had a roster shift. I
Oh,
think Spirit moved some people around too. Secret just made their big announcement that they're back and they've got a crazy team.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's like 2 Mongolian dudes. Puppy. And some new talent. You know, they're fostering new talent.
Yeah.
They poached a Paravision player.
They poached.
Oh, sorry, no. He went. Crystals went to Paravision. I'm tripping. I'm looking at the wrong thing. There we go. 423 from Mongolia. Einkrad from Belarus. Shout out to all the Belarusian players. We haven't had one since like FNG. So that's sick.
Okay.
Same, I don't know how to pronounce that. Also Mongolian.
Hey, man.
Kizko from Russia and Puppy from Estonia. Shout out Clement. Sick name.
I know it's a Clement.
Yeah, his name is Clement.
Good name.
It's it's pretty alright. Yeah, so Secret made their official roster announcement like earlier today, sometime yesterday, and they're coming back for ESL One Bangkok. They're playing in the qualifiers at least for it. They had all their ESL One stuff recently with Dream League. Dream League is an ESL event, so that's why these 4 teams, because there's top 4 teams from that event, since the EPT leaderboard, they made it. Gaiman got knocked out, made me real sad. They need some time to cook, need some time to work, but if I go to go to tier 1 tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
that's where it is. That's where it is. Here we go. You're gonna see a trend here. All right. So BBD 24. I think that was season 1. Or season no, it was season 2. Yeah. Dream League 22. ESL 1. They've won like every ESL event because they won Dream League 22. Birmingham. ESL 1 Birmingham 2024. Dream League 23. And then, you know, had a little dry spell. Game and Beat, Liquid and Riyadh Masters, all that. Extreme Beats. Spirit at Clayvision. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Avision. Snow Ryui.
Snow Ryui. Ruyi.
Ryui.
Liquid wins TI. And we kind of have this reset. But it's within the same year, so, you know.
Yeah.
So, since TI, Falcons have won the next 2 Tier 1 events. But remember, talked about this 2 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Heroic.
Yes.
So, you know, there's
Things are
the house is on a weak foundation. That's all I'm saying.
things
you know.
are afoot in Dota right now.
Once the llama starts spitting, you know, that stink don't come off. That's real, by the way. That's real.
Yeah, no, that's bars.
But we've got Blast Slam after all that, and then ESL One Bangkok. So 2 more until we go into 2025 with not 1, not 2, but 3 Wallachia seasons, 3 Dream Leagues, 4 Blast events, ESL 1, and then somewhere between May and November is TI. So,
Well, goddamn, that
Little-
seems like a stacked year.
it's gonna be a big year for Dota. Only what was that, 5 offline events? That's crazy.
Is that uncommon? Oh, I guess you're right.
I mean, most of them are LANs. I mean, some of these are probably LAN as well. I know Dream League is an online thing.
Yeah.
The Wallachia events are usually played on LAN,
Okay.
but only like after groups, I think.
Right. I'm sure not everyone.
Yeah, they've got weird rules for like what goes on LAN, what doesn't, and then some of them aren't even like what was it? Fucking Wallachia season 2 was played on LAN but with no crowd. Like they were just there. They were just in Bucharest.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Dota's weird. Dota gets even weirder.
Yeah.
when we when we look at this
Yeah,
guy.
I was gonna say.
Here's the real meat and potatoes, all right? The competitive scene for Dota, Falcons winning everything. Not a whole lot to say there.
Right after the bird hero comes out.
Right after the bird hero comes out, you know, they had to really double down on the Saudi money, all right? Saudi was like, you're giving us all this oil money, all right? You got to give us something in return.
Ruling the world.
So we have Kez. And Tony, you haven't seen Kez yet, right?
No.
Outside of just his key art.
I didn't know he was a bird until right now.
Yeah. Bird Samurai. He was in the leaks.
He has Yasuo's sword. Like, quite literally.
That plays into the hint that I gave you when I told you about it. So,
yes.
Based on what I told you, based on, like, what champions do you think he emulates? You can give me a mix.
So,
because he's very much like one of them.
So I think what you said was it was a samurai.
It's one of the samurais.
There are two, right? There's Yon and there's Yasuo in terms of samurais.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is you're saying he's not actually like Yasuo. He's closer to Yon.
Got it.
Okay.
Kez, I don't know his title.
The melee carry escape disabler.
Yes, he's one of the very few Dota heroes. We got worlds on the brain, so we got to glaze Faker after this. Mm-hmm. But one of the few heroes that has their actual name as their in-game name. The only other one being Marcy, I believe.
I was say that was the first one that came to my head. I was like, what about Marcy?
It's Marcy. It's like Marcy Marana. Marcy Marana, Luna, and Kez.
You're gonna tell me that Pangolier isn't his government legal? Like...
That's his race, funny enough. And I think Hoodwink is their actual name also.
Yeah, right? Okay, that one also.
So there's very few of them, because the rest are just titles, like Phantom Lancer, right. Earthshaker, things like that.
Monkey King.
So he's got a comic. I like that Dota still does comics for reveals. We get...
There's the store, Overwatch coded.
Yeah, we get heroes so few far in between, so it's nice to, like, when they give us a little, like, tidbit of their lore. But he's got 2 stances.
Oh.
He's a Ninja Turtle. You have a katana in your sides. So.
Okay, I like that.
We'll start with his passive, or not his passive, but his passive, which is...
So his passive is switch dances.
Switch disciplines.
Yeah.
You use it to switch between katana and size. It goes on cooldown. Abilities between both are shared, so Q on katana's the same cooldown as Q on size. So if you switch, you can't use the ability again. Unless, of course, you get his Ags upgrade, then you can switch, and if you use an ability within the first 3 seconds of switching, the cooldown doesn't affect the other switch.
So if you do...
So
with the upgrade, you're saying if he does, like, Q, switch Q,
no.
That's legal.
No,
oh.
You would have to switch Q, switch Q. You have to switch first.
Oh,
so yeah. So if you Q and then switch, it's already on cooldown. So it's not going to reset the cooldown or anything.
Switch in, you hit Q.
Switch in Q,
then
switch back, and then use Q again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same goes for the ultimate, which we'll get into. So we'll start with the katana side, because that's the side that was like, oh, this is just Yon.
Yeah.
So Q, as you can see, is Q3.
Yeah. So
without the knock-up, but he has a mirror of himself.
An oval, it dashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Yon Q.
Goes through things. It destroys trees, and it will send him onto high ground too. So you can use it to get over. Yeah. You can get it up from low ground, at a short distance.
So my assumption is you would be able to tell me better. That's probably pretty good in Dota, right? To have movement ability that can not only get through trees, but like also ignores high ground and shit.
Yeah. Because trees, yes and no, because trees will block vision. So if you go through a tree, right, you break it, you reveal that area pretty much, because it's covered by, like, if it's daytime, you'll be able to see it pretty clearly.
Right, but it would give you, like, an ambush point, right? Because in theory, you can, like...
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can break through the trees, so you don't have to, like, path out of them to use the ability, which is nice. But, yeah. It's also not, like, targeted to the cursor, it's targeted the way he's facing. So you have to be looking in that direction, and it will just go in that direction. Kind of like Riven. Think of like Riven Q.
Yeah.
W is a grappling hook. Point and click ability. Gives you 100% lifesteal, which is crazy. I haven't even told you the effects of all these, but we'll get into that with the passive, with this E, because that's a whole other can of worms. But yeah, you click on a unit, it'll drag you towards them. It works on trees as well.
And Lash 1.
Yeah, you have Lash 1.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's his
cool.
It's his 3.
Whichever the grapple.
It's either his 2 or 3 because I know his 1 is his slam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have the grapple. 100% lifesteal upon landing.
Crazy. Okay.
Yeah, nuts. And it becomes even crazier with the Kazurai Katana, his E.
Kazurai Katana, I like that.
So, you know how Yon has like he does damage and then he just does it again?
Are you talking about on the spectral, like on his E, or are you talking about how...
Just like he hits you and then he has like the mark over you and then the mark detonates and...
Oh, that's specifically for E.
Yeah. So his E...
When he's in E, basically when he retracts from E, a portion of the damage he dealt while in E is done again.
Yeah. So his E is essentially the same thing. It applies a stacking debuff that reduces health regen. And instead of like bursting all at once, it's dot damage. And it does I think it does max health damage also.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it turns all abilities into that.
Yeah, and it affects all his abilities.
And is it like for a set period or is it like a toggle?
It's a passive. It's always active.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he just has this. Level 3, you just have it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that it does, in theory, that makes it impossible for him to... No, they apply a stacking. So they're still doing their damage. They just
you do auto attack damage, and then it puts on a debuff that is the stacking damage that ticks down over the course of like 10 seconds or something like that. The website doesn't have all like the super specifics about it. I might have to go to his hero page for it, but you get to see the the animations and stuff.
I get it. Okay. That's neat.
His first ult, because he has 2 of them, is he channels this big slash and he spins around. So like Yon has a big slash for his ult. Kez also has a big slash for his ult. He is 100% spell and debuff immune. So he can't be stunned. He can't be slept.
Okay.
And it's all it is to give you the chance to run away. That's why there's a delay.
Right. You can't interrupt it. The idea is like it makes it at least reactable in like some sense. Yeah.
Debuff immunity and magic resistance, which is insane. Also applies the ult or the E. Because why not?
Okay, interesting.
But it gets crazier.
So wait, hold on. It applies the E. Is that because the R is coded like a basic attack? So does that apply to like?
The E works on abilities and auto attacks.
Oh.
So it doesn't matter if it's coded as an auto attack.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Con attacks and abilities apply stacking damage, but it's only when you're in katana stance that the buff will be applied.
Right. Yeah, of course.
So if you hit someone and then you switch to size, it's not going to apply that. It'll apply the size passive.
Right.
Which is also equally as fucked up and evil.
Yeah.
So Q. You gain hasted movement speed and ghosted movement. Ghosted movement is I guess phased movement in League. Or sorry, no. Phased movement is ghosted movement in League. I had the terms mixed up. So like how you can like move through creeps.
You just become intangible.
Yeah, kind of like how Fizz can move through creep waves.
Yeah.
The phased in Dota is essentially just that. There's a boot that gives you that ability.
So yeah, you just become intangible. Like you aren't like creep blocked.
Yeah, you can path through the creeps. So you dash towards people when you auto them. So you get what Phantom Lancer has, his Phantom Rush. You have essentially the same thing. So you'll rush towards them, but you have reduced attack speed because you have an echo of your attack, which you see here.
The echo looks cool.
Yeah,
he like creates like a ghost of himself.
Yeah, you got like Naruto shadow clones.
Yeah,
which is pretty sick.
It looks cool. I'm into it.
Yeah. No collision, attack rate is
Yeah.
less, but your attack speed, it's not affected, and then you have the auto attacks. W, you throw a psi, it detonates on them, it silences
Range
them,
ability. That's interesting.
and I think it slows them as well. I think there's a slow on there. And it's like a crazy, it's like an 80% slow also for like half a second.
It's an area. It's like an AOE silence.
Yeah. It blows up. It's stupid, but it gets worse.
Like a lot.
It gets worse because it's E. You thought this passive was crazy. This one is your auto attacks and abilities have a chance to apply a mark, and the mark, when it's detonated from another auto attack or ability, will detonate and it'll be a critical strike. It gives them true strike. So League got rid of evasion a while ago, like dodge chance, like a long time ago. Dota still has it. You have evasion, and if you have too much evasion, right, you just can't be hit. But true strike ignores all that.
Yeah.
So characters like
Guaranteed.
Templar Assassin, Phantom Assassin, ones that rely on their mischances, anybody that builds Radiance or Butterfly, it just goes through all that. Like, you just have True Strike, just hit them. So it's True Strike, it'll stun when it's detonated, it's a crit when it's detonated, and if you throw the knife to detonate it, you're also slowed and silenced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, this is the part where you become a Kali.
Yeah.
Because your ult is the smoke bomb, so you're invisible, and you have hasted movement, and it applies the mark. It applies like an empowered mark to everybody,
Right.
and the empowered mark just pretty much doubles the effect. So like, you see, it's 2 of the size above them.
Yeah,
instead of just the 1.
So it doubles up. So
Yeah.
you essentially can trigger the mark twice with the
No, you get a bigger crit, longer stun. I guess True Strike is True Strike, but
Yeah. Wow.
yeah. So there's already some videos. Tortellini has a YouTube guide out on him right now. Super cool though, like super sick design.
He looks cool. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Looks very cool.
I'm glad we got a melee like Agi carry. He flexes well into the mid lane, and just super stylish. Like, all the gameplay and stuff I've seen of this character, it's like super cool. And I'm glad that Valve went out and took some risks with designing this character.
Right.
Because the last couple, I don't want to say they're safe, but like Ringmaster, nothing too spectacular, pretty basic character. And of course, I love when I see basic characters. Like, League is so design creep with their champion designs. Like, it's a joke at this point, and sorry, it's getting ridiculous at this point. Like, but seeing it in Dota, because we have so many like just safe designs for characters for the most part. Like, I think Monkey King was the last like real Monkey King or Void Spirit. I think were like the last like real like crazy ones we've seen. Like, Dawnbreaker wasn't really much of like anything spectacular. You have the Hammer Suppa again, like just 4 abilities, good offlaner, like very safe offlaner pick or like design.
Isn't Marcy kind of crazy? I mean, I guess I don't know what her ability. I know she was like dominant in the meta for a while, but I guess I don't know if her.
Yeah,
actual,
Marcy falls into that.
Points of it were kind of nutty.
Yeah, Marcy falls into that. She's got a bunch of lifesteal. She's a good support right now because of the facet reworks and stuff. Oh, this is alphabetical. Where is she? There she is. But yeah, she's got. Where's her other ability? They're only showing 3. That's crazy. But yeah, Marcy's pretty cool. He did the suplex, but even then, like, it was more so the effects that were kind of crazy. But it was like she was still pretty straightforward. Like, there wasn't like a whole lot of flexibility in how to play that character.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
Outside of like when she first releases, like, you just build carry and then you ult and just run up and punch somebody and you get like a bunch of stuns off of it. But now you have a bit more flexibility with like support versus core builds for her. So, yeah, no, I think Kez is a wonderful addition to the game, and I'm very excited.
Cool. Yeah, he seems pretty cool. It is interesting to see that we have two like very movement melee happy characters being added to the two biggest MOBAs at the same time between Kez and Mbessa.
Mbessa, yep.
Which like I don't have a ton to say about Mbessa besides like I get it. People are like, I can't believe that she has a dash on every ability because, you know, she has like fucking Callista passive, but it's also on abilities.
Yeah, she kind of struck me as like an 80 Silas.
Well, that's the thing is like I look at Mbessa and I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. That character's just sick. Like I don't know what else to say about it. Like she fucking yeah, she has the Callista passive where basically if you do an ability, you can issue a move or an attack move and she will do it like while doing the ability. So you can like hit her Q, which is like basically the same thing as his it's like a conal slash in front of her. But she can move with it because of her passive. Same thing with like her W or her E, I think is the one where she like twirls the blades around her in a circle and she can move with it because of her passive and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she definitely feels very at least in like her movement patterns, very AD Silas. I think her ult is really sick. I think it's called like Public Execution, which is hard as fuck.
Dude, the Noxians are always so metal. I love them.
Yeah, I was gonna say
W region.
And when she gets it
daily.
When she gets it, she gets I think like passive armored pen and her abilities healer and shit. Yeah, I don't know. She is just sick. Apparently, word on the street, which you know, who knows how long this is true, is that she's not very good right now because she does not have a ton of health, and she usually just gets blown up when she goes for anything. But I don't know. Yeah, I think like, yeah, she's just cool. I don't know. Dashes are cool. I hate to be that guy because I know in MOBA that's a controversial opinion, but dashes are cool, and having a character that can do a lot of dashes is cool. Is what it is. Like,
I mean, a lot of people just don't like the movement, like the heavy movement ones. To that I say, fuck you play a control mage. But
real. Nah, dude.
They hate it. They hate dashes because, oh, woe is me. I can't hit my skill shots. I don't know.
Yeah, bro. I don't know.
Learn how to read it better. Get fucked.
Like, this brings me to a I watched a video today, very worthwhile. People should watch it. It was on the Evo YouTube channel, and it was they have a series that they do called Matches That Made Me, where they talk with like famous fighting game players about some of the matches that they like, you know, hold in high regard for themselves, like matches they've been in that have kind of changed their career, their journey, or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they did one with Lord Knight recently.
Shout out Lord Knight.
I'm a big Lord Knight fanboy.
Love that guy.
And one of my favorite bits is he was talking about in that video a little bit about his stint of playing Milia during Xrd, and he was talking about like basically the reasons that like Guilty Gear players don't find Milia fun, and he was basically his live was something, and he's just like, yeah, she does X, Y, and Z, and he's like, he goes like, yeah, and you know, if you're on the receiving end of that, it's not fun, or he's like, he basically referred to her, he's like, she's a say no character. He's like, in Guilty Gear, people run around, you know, do fast shit, dash around, do all this crazy stuff. And Milia's core design in Xrd was she just says no. You want to do this? No. You want to do that? No. Like, she's just a say no character, which is why people hate her. And he's like, and yeah, no, I get it. She's not fun. And you know what? You can hold that. And like, that's the truth of it. Like,
no, that's so real.
Yeah. Because that's the real shit right there. Yeah, man, I don't like you dash around my screen. Sure, I can get why you hate that. Like, you can't hit a skill shot. Also, hold that shit. I don't care.
Hold that shit.
Yeah.
Learn how to read. I don't know, man. Get the read. Yeah, put those hands to work.
Straight up. That's the real shit. My man legit said it. He's like, and that's not fun. And you can hold that.
Listen, I've complained about the dashes before. I've complained about the Aurelia lanes before. Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I thought some of those kills were bullshit. I've complained about Katarina probably the most. Sick as fuck champion to play though.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Can't beat him. Join him. I play this shit. I'm like, never mind. I get it now. I see it.
Here's the deal. we all have it somewhere, right? I'm out here playing characters that people hate, and guess what? When I get killed instantly from 4 screens over by a Zoe Q ult,
that is a lot less fun.
Yeah, I think she's the dumbest champion in the game. I'm like, I don't get why this shit should exist.
Listen, if I die and I can't see you, that's some bullshit. Outside of like CS or COD or something like that, because that's like you just had an angle that you put the mind into that, right?
Nah, even then.
If I'm mashing away, like weaving autos through creeps and shit like that, and then I just get like nuked from like their spawn, I'm within my right to be upset about that. You know, I don't think anyone is happy about, you know, getting mortar shelled in any scenario.
No, I agree with that. It is funny to see the tweak on it though, because like the equivalent of what you're talking about, of like you know, in a MOBA, you're just like, I was killed from 4 screens over. That's bullshit, and you're like, but we can the human mind can develop like an excuse for anything in like any of those scenarios. So like you're like, oh, you know, if I die in like an FPS, it is what it is. They had an angle. But in reality, if you actually died in FPS, you and I are saying the same thing where you're going, man, that guy's a moron. Why is he even there? Like,
yeah.
He's so lucky he's ass. He shouldn't even be there.
Just keep with the fucking riot shield.
Yeah. No, literally, because that's the thing. It's just like, dude, why would the bombs are not even on this site? Why are you there? Like,
yeah. They're like lurking through your spawn, dude.
Yeah. Oh god.
They're watching like suicide for no reason. Like you're crossing cat, you've got bomb, like your entire team is there, you jump down, dude just sit in suicide for no reason, you get popped.
And like I said, sure he had the angle, but in your head you're just like, this is bullshit. That guy, what's he do? That guy's a retard. Why is he there?
Why is he there? Play car. Play CT. Do anything.
Play any side. Be useful to your team.
Be useful to your team. It's like a 5v5 scenario, so like nobody's made any moves. That guy is just there.
He's just there.
Yeah.
He's just hanging out.
He like smoked it too. Like he was sitting in that smoke that whole time. It cleared. He just happened to like get the jump shot.
As far as the smoke is gone.
The smoke has been gone.
He's not gonna move.
We short tossed it, right? Faked B, went all the way around. Dude's just sitting there. He's waiting for the fake. He's like, dude, they're gonna do it. I know it. He called the play like 3 rounds ago.
That's my favorite. Like, if you want to hear like a consistent like Apex deathcom and like Apex comp, you'll hear it every time if you're watching like competitive POVs. And it's my favorite one when like a team will get like straight lined by another team and they'll like die.
Mm-hmm.
And the first response that the team who died from the straight line is, man, those guys are fucking apes. Those guys are morons. I can't believe they rushed us there. What's the point? Like.
Points. It's always points.
Yeah, they're just like I can't believe they would kill their own game to kill us right now every time. Doesn't matter what team it is. Doesn't matter the
every time, dude. I love fucking we ball plays. Listen.
Oh god. But yeah, it's that's cool. Kez legitimately looks like a very cool
Kez looks sick. You need to play more Dota. We'll put on record now. You do not play enough Dota.
No, you're right. I don't. But that's a character I could see myself playing. That seems fun. Like
high execution, you know, just
oh yeah.
Some nonsense. I mean, turn rate is gonna like fuck all that up for a league player, but you know,
yeah,
it'll be all right. You'll be all right. Melee characters, melee heroes have less turn rate than range characters. So, is
that a good or a bad thing when you say less turn rate? Like, do they turn slower?
Yeah, range characters turn slower. To compensate for having melee characters have to get up there.
Far, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, nah, I guess going from speaking of this, you know, do we just want to eliminate the world's talk immediately now that we're on mobile?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably not a whole lot left to say.
No,
oh, what's up?
No. Better pacing, because we can talk about Worlds and we can lead into LTA later, which will be probably our big discussion.
Oh, true. Yeah, you did have some like fighting and stuff, right?
Yeah, I would say let's move to another topic that I think was brewing, that I'm interested in your take on.
Let's go from the Freedom Fighter to the World Warriors.
Yes, the Freedom Fighters to the World Warriors.
Yeah, because of the freedom fighter, he's fighting for the bird people.
W shit. I love the bird people. As a Falco player in Melee, he's got my vote.
There we go. Bluebirds rise up.
Dude, Bluebird is Bluebird. Yeah, Bluebird's the Zone of the Ender song. That song's goated.
Musical episode.
No, Beyond the Bounds. I don't know. Whatever. So if you don't know, right now in fighting games, there's a lot of stuff going on with the big three. There's some recent balance patches, right? Or maybe there was one recent balance patch that has kicked off an escalating war in the balance wars of fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
Guilty Gear Strive just got its Season 4 patch. And it probably has the worst reception of any patch in the game's lifespan so far. Mainly, like, obviously there's some design decisions that I think people find questionable, but I think it's I think it's multiple things. I think it is a lot of frustration for how Season 3 went, on top of this patch came way later than any season has come so far. So it like Season 3 was technically like the longest season before we got a Season 4 patch. And this patch, for whatever reason, there's a million speculations. We don't know, but for whatever reason, this patch was really buggy on launch. A lot of characters with bugged moves. Kai has a bugged infinite in Dragon Install.
The last thing I needed was a Kai infinite.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's word on the. Some people are like, "Oh, it's practical. He can totally do it." And a lot of people are like, "It's not practical. Like, you're not gonna do it." But like, either way,
he has an infinite. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Guess what? It's probably the result of a bug or an oversight. Like, it probably should be in the game because they've patched out every infinite. Like, Geo had an infinite in Season 1, and guess what? They got rid of it like pretty quickly too. Like, it was not something that got left around super long. He's got that. Ram had a sword interaction that was bugged. Gold Lewis, I think, had something that was bugged. Multiple characters there's been multiple bugs like that have been cropping up all over the place since this Season 4 patch dropped.
Yeah.
So people are already frustrated about the balance in Season 3. Now we enter a controversial balance patch in Season 4 that already has some big changes that is now also buggy, on top of it taking forever to come out. Ram entirely, like, basically they reworked Ram as a character, like, quite literally. They changed almost everything about her. And her new version with the bugs has made her the most disgusting, like, fucked up character, like, in the game, right now. And, like, yeah, so it's like, it's one of those things where, like, jury's out on whether or not that'll not be as bad when her bugged sword throw gets fixed. But there's a lot of shit. This patch is set off a whole motion of people being very pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Add this on to the general FGC like mind share of people have been upset in Street Fighter 6 about the state of M. Bison since the character's release. They think he's overtuned. This, that, and the third. JP got buffs, and Luke was buffed for a while, so it's like that game has had these controversial things going around.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about Tekken 8 for this first season, it's always been the big three, the big Exodia 3, Yoshimitsu, Dragunov, and Nina. And, they nerfed Dragunov after a while, and he's still really good.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a lot going on in terms of people talking about fighting game balancing. And this was all a big thing was kicked off. One thing that came from it, the thing that I kind of want to pick your brain on, maybe get some ideas from you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Is our boy Broski, an Aki player in Street Fighter 6, very good Aki player.
She does the poison stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's Fang or whatever his name was.
She's
Fang.
like Fang's student, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Broski put out a tweet. Where I have the tweet here, so I'll read it verbatim. But he said, "I've been saying this for years now, but in the wake of several truly awful balance patches for multiple fighting games, it is crazy to me that more devs don't hire players as consultants, something which is commonplace in basically every other esport." And a lot of people had opinions about that. Some people were like, yeah, this guy is brilliant. Some people were like, no, because players cannot like separate themselves from the game, and they simply look at it through like a one person lens, and it's not good for holistic balance. Um, I guess a couple things I want to dispute right out the gate
Mm-hmm.
is fun fact: the prominent players being like consulted in fighting games is not it's not actually that uncommon. Like there there are players that are working on dev teams like across pretty much all three of the big three right now between Tekken 8, Guilty Gear, and Street Fighter. Strive and Street Fighter. 2XKO, the Riot game that's coming out, I know has like people like Apology Man that are actively working on it also, that are players that are part of this balance team now.
Mm-hmm.
So that does happen. Player consulting does happen. I'm curious before we get into anything else. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think player consulting in terms of fighting game balancing is good? Is bad? Is it like a more nuanced situation? Like
it's a double-edged sword, I think. When it comes to player consulting, not that they're on the dev team, I feel like there's two different perspectives there. Where when they're on the dev team, they can have a more like objective look at the game, where they're like, okay, these things are like, they're not looking for a character they particularly like enjoy playing as much as they are looking for an experience with each individual character that players will enjoy playing. Because that's what's going to sell the game. So they're going to be like, they're not going to ask. I don't know who's on the Street Fighter dev team. I'd assume like Daigo is on there, since not like maybe like paid, but he's probably consulted.
I'm sure someone has asked him something at some point, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if there's any pros.
Is he a dev in official capacity? No.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any like pros or what pros are on the, or former pros are on the.
Woshige is someone that is well known. He was a known like Guilty Gear player that worked on Street Fighter V's dev team. I don't know if he carried over to 6, but like that's like one example.
Use it as an example for now.
Player, yeah.
That he's not gonna like be like, oh, I'm a Cammy player, so I gotta make sure that Cammy in this game is as the best as she can be, because the rest of the execs are gonna be like, well, nobody wants to play it if they're not gonna play Cammy, so what are we to do? So when it comes to player being on the dev team, sorry, hold on. I'll chop this part up. Hold on. Okay, cool. We're back.
Oh yeah. Send it.
Give like a 3, 2, 1, and then I'll start going. So when it comes to players consulting versus being on the dev team, I feel like players on the dev teams that are being paid to work on it, they have more eyes on the game. They have more margins to work within, being that more people need to enjoy the game. So when a player's consulted, they usually have a subjective view where they want their character to be good, obviously. But even I think
it can even go further than that, right? Like maybe it's not just a character. Like players have like play styles, and so they specifically want, even if it's not just their character, but their style of playing the game, they want that to be the best.
Like I want Rushdown to be, Rushdown to be better because I think it's more exciting.
Right. If you want if you're a Rushdown player and you want things like, you're like, oh, I think these characters need better move speed. Also, all these projectiles need to be worse. Also, I hate DPs.
But if you like puppets and zoners, you're probably like, oh, well, the mental game is a lot more fun than just running in and smashing buttons like a gorilla.
Why is recovery on this projectile so bad?
Yeah. So I don't think I don't think consulting is bad, because obviously when you look at other esports, like they said in the tweet, the pros are consulted based on, you look at League, right? I mean, completely different game, but fighting games are a very special case when it comes to balancing, because it's one-on-one. When you look at a game like League, you do have play styles that are better some patches than others,
Oh yeah,
right?
100%.
Even I'll
Usually
go
influenced by what champions are
I'll
good
even go
versus
I'll
what
even
items
go
are good.
harken back to an Overwatch, right? When Goats was good,
Yeah.
right?
Ugh.
And everybody was like, "Well, this isn't fun to play." So you know what they did? They got rid of a whole tank slot. like
You're not wrong.
like they're like, "Oh, you want to play Goats? All right, well, fuck it, one tank."
I feel like that game has historically had a tank problem. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
you're not kidding.
it's to incentivize people to play tank because nobody wants to play it. But it's
Yeah.
also like just design cooler tanks.
No,
I don't know. Like
I agree.
stop designing bullet sponges and design characters. Design like a mechanically intensive tank. Like the only one you have is Zarya,
Hmm.
and even then, I don't know, man. Everything is like
Yeah.
just put something on there and AFK, let it charge, and then do big move, and it's so boring to watch. It's so boring to watch.
Going to Togespiel.
But anyways, like when that was right, and pros complain about it, and obviously in team games, certain playstyles feel better to play as a team than others do, and I feel like that's easier to find and remedy when you have hundreds of characters because now all the characters with different tools can
Yeah.
flex
More
into
counter pick options. Yeah.
right. In a fighting game, it's harder to get that consultation. It's like, oh, well, Rushdown is good. It's like, well, not everybody plays Rushdown characters, right?
Yeah.
So you might not even get that matchup. So how
Plus, like, well, like you were saying, in a team game with multiple characters, the depth on, not to say that there isn't depth to these characters, but learning Tracer or learning Lucian or learning Kez, we'll say, right?
mm-hmm.
It's a different level of commitment than like, okay, well, I'm gonna throw out like a random example, right? I'm playing Gold Lewis into Happy Chaos, and this matchup is absolute dog shit for Gold Lewis. Um, you can't, and you can be like, oh, well, Giovanna does okay into Happy Chaos. You're not just gonna pick up Giovanna. It just
Yeah.
doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
Like it's
like
just
you've invested all this time into this one character. This character is
yeah,
twice the mechanics of any League character, of any
right,
Overwatch character, of any Dota character.
right.
Like there's so much more going on on a micro level in a fighting game that you can't just oh yeah, you're right. Let me just learn somebody else. Sure, you can have a
Right.
pocket pick, right? Everybody
Eventually, yeah.
most people have
People
pocket
develop stuff for
picks,
that. Yeah. If you have a
but
matchup that you truly hate, like you might figure out a character to play into that matchup
especially in like a
that you
lot of
hate.
older games too, where those like matchups and everything are pretty set in stone,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like, oh, the Justice matchup is real bad for my character, for most characters. I'm just gonna play fucking Justice into it. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Run the
I
mirror.
can
Like
do that.
that's just how it
Yeah.
works. But still,
Yeah.
like, oh, like this matchup's really bad for me. Well, maybe you either pick up the character so that you can play the mirror, because that way you know what the character does. You don't have to risk playing something weaker into it, and then you could just do the 50-50. Or you pick up a character that beats that character, but then you also have to find a whole new matchup chart. Because now it's like, okay, the my pocket pick into this character, it's good against this, but then it's like also bad into all of these. So I would have to play my main into these, but my main sucks into these, so I have to like it becomes way more to keep track of, way more to execute, and then you're doing inputs on one character that don't work because they're for another character, if you're me at least. And
No, yeah. I mean, yeah,
it
it's
happens to the
you're
best
playing
of
an
us.
entirely different thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So I don't think he's entirely wrong. I think games should take uh data from professional matches. I don't think so much consulting uh pro players as much as it would be you take the data you have from the competitive scene, what's performing well, what are people if people are dropping characters for a certain character, or
right.
how these mainstays are performing against the characters that are winning these tournaments, and then you focus your balance on that. You ask the players who are playing the character that are winning what's so strong about them. You ask people that are losing what's so strong, and you cross reference that, and then you can do a balance patch that way, as
Right.
opposed to, well, I'm calling this guy because he's bitching and moaning that his character sucks, and we need to
Right.
nerf everybody else and make Dragon Install twice as good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I think you and I are more or less on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
The thing that like came up that I thought was really interesting and it made me think about stuff is obviously, like I said, everyone you can watch. I think Sajam did a video on it. There's a lot of tweets. One of the tweet threads that was really interesting was from a guy named Keats, who, if people don't know him, he was a developer for Killer Instinct, the Xbox One Killer Instinct,
Hmm.
and he had a whole thing where he talked about how he has used like a whole Twitter thread talking about his experience using player consulting, and basically his thing was like, yeah, I don't think like we tried. Like I've used player consulting and stuff, and he's like, and I think most of the time it's just never helpful. And basically he listed kind of the same thing where he's like, they can almost never put aside self-interest to give like effective holistic feedback. And usually if they're asking for something, it's probably self-serving.
Yeah.
And he's like, it does work. He's like, from time to time. But he brought up, and this is the main thing I thought was interesting, and I was like, this is probably a pretty an approach, at least that in my mind I think works out very well. Where he basically said, if you're going to use them, it requires a confident and strong, a balanced director. And Sajam, I think, went into it a little bit in the video, and it kind of coincided with, though this wasn't about the same topic, it was Lord Knight talking about the season 4 balance patch in general, where he talked about this idea of, okay, obviously high level player feedback consulting, if you will. And to Broski's point, because some people were just like, oh yeah, I that's what I want. I would like, we're trying to meme on him and be like, oh yeah, that's what I want, is I want players telling me that every character besides theirs sucks. And Broski made the point, because he's a rational human being. He's not ridiculous. Where he's like, I don't like. Do you guys think consulting just means that they just go, what do you want? Got it. Check mark. We're putting it in, boss. Here's $100,000. Thank you for your contribution. Like,
Yeah.
no, consulting is literally that. They go, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? That person tells them what they think, and they go, okay. And as long as they, as the balance director or the balance team, are confident, they should be able to look at the list and go, yeah, buff Giovanna dash so it dashes full screen on one. That's fucking stupid. Cross that shit off our list. Like, you should be able to parse that stuff out and be
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is obviously ridiculous. No, we don't do that. But it gives you an idea of like maybe pain points or things that are, not great, and you can go from there. But that to me is the key that they were kind of talking about, is this idea of like a balance objective, right? I think the best example you can get is like, you want these games from a fighting game perspective when they go in to make a new game or when they make a new season. Because Lord Knight was talking about how if you look at Guilty Gear Strive's balance since vanilla till now, you kind of get like every season, it has been clear that they had like kind of an objective in mind where they're like, all right, this is how we want to tweak the game. We're pushing it towards this. And all of the changes sort of align with this thing. Uh, Season 2, it was about like kind of upping, like, making positive bonus better, because a lot of people thought in vanilla that positive bonus wasn't very good. It didn't do a ton. So season 2 was like, let's amp up positive bonus. Let's like let more people make fast RC, these underutilized systems that no one really cares about. Let's try to make them worthwhile. And that was kind of the key point to season 2. And then season 3, they were like, all right, well, let's add in new ways to use meter with Wild Assault and with Deflect Shield, and like kind of tone some of this stuff around. And in season 4, it kind of feels like the objective, because they didn't really do any big system changes. The only real like broad level change they did was they upped defense across the entire cast, basically making everyone healthier to try to, I guess, lessen damage in the game. But my point is, like, if you as a developer have like a broad objective, right, where you're like, we want this game to be high damage, we want this game to be low damage, you want this game to be neutral heavy, yada yada. And as long as you have this objective in mind, and you're like, this is our vision for the game, this is what we think the game should look like at high level, and at low level, this is the core idea of how the game should be played.
Mhm.
Sure, there are outliers, sure, there are things that are going to twist the game and make it play their own way, but ideally, this is our core and our vision for like what the game is to look like, and you can keep to that. I think that's where you are capable of starting to pull in feedback from other places.
Yeah.
Because like if you go through Keats's whole thread, he had a whole thing where he talked about like, he's like, the whole idea is like at the end of the day, you need to have a vision for your balance patch, or no amount of data matters at all. He was like, you can bring in a bunch of player consultants and like that'll give you one thing, but like that's not going to solve your balance problem entirely. He's like, you can use data from all these matches, and he's like, sure, that paints a whole different picture. It also probably won't solve your problem by itself. The whole idea is like if you don't have like a core vision of what you want the game to be, then like all of this data in the world, like if it's directionless data, what's the point? Like you just have like an amalgamation of numbers and ideas,
Yeah,
right?
it's
If you
just
can't,
stats on a page. Like
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
anything meaningful.
yeah. So that is like the most important thing is like, do these devs, when they're making these patches or these balance decisions, do they have a vision of like what this game should look like? And like I do think sometimes, especially now with like the Twitter age of fighting games and shit, like I do think some people get real lost in the weeds where they're just like, "Oh, I want change X, Y, Z, D, whatever," and it's like, I think actually what you want is to play a different game. Like I find you will find that so often where it's just like they're like, I wish this game had all these changes, and you're like, yeah, man, you probably shouldn't be playing Guilty Gear. You should probably go play Street Fighter, like, or
I wish
like
Street Fighter wasn't so grounded. I want cool air call. I
right,
like jumping out. Like
yeah,
go play Melty or
you
something. I
should
don't know,
go,
man.
yeah. Well, no, like straight up, because it's like there are times where it's like, or like I think you'll see like some of them, they're just like, man, I wish like Grand Blue was like more or Strive is a good one where they're like, I wish all this did XYZ, and that and the third damage was this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, well, yeah, man, Xrd was 10 years ago. You should probably play that game though.
Probably
I
go
don't
play
think you
Exit.
want to. Yeah, I don't think you want to play this
There's
game.
nothing
Is
wrong
what.
with playing an older version of a
Yeah,
fighting game too.
and that's really it. Is it's just like I think sometimes we need to sit back and accept that the game that they want to make is not the game that you want to play, and that's fine. And you should probably go play the thing you want to play, and not try to turn this thing that is clearly designed around a whole different vision into something it's not. And I don't think the right decision is for devs to start fucking franken gaming like this thing into like something it was never supposed to be, right? Like,
Just to appease player. Like I get it's like you have to
yeah,
meet a bottom line at the end of the
yeah,
day.
no,
So
you
like
need there because that's the thing is there it's all humans, right? Humans are playing the game,
yeah.
humans are making the game, and like no balance patch is perfect. Like I there are things in season 4 that I look this season of Guilty Gear. I've been playing and I've been having a good time. I think like once they fix some of the bug shit, I think we'll probably be in a much better place. But like I've been having a good time. I think Geo like she only got really like one major change, but I thought it was a really nice quality of life thing and it's pretty cool. I've been playing Elfelt a little bit and like she's pretty fun in this patch. And are there things in this patch that I think are like, why the fuck did you do that? Absolutely. They took out a car like they made so they removed Kara Potbuster from the game, but they just made his Potbuster like they extended the range, so it's the Kara range all the time. You just don't have to do the Kara anymore. And it's
What?
like, why?
Why?
Like I don't like
What
why
are you doing?
I don't get it. Like
What's the
did he
point?
does he need that? And then they like gave it one hit of armor, so it's like you have to mash it if you want to.
Like
I don't
Pot needed more
I don't
armor?
know.
Like what are we
Yeah,
doing?
I don't know. So yeah, no. Do I think there are perfect decisions being made? No. Do I, as an Akuma player in Street Fighter 6, think M Bison is dumb when I get hit with a bomb combo and I lose 82% of my life? Yeah, I think that's stupid. Meterless, by the way. Um,
Insanity.
uh, and but also it's like kind of like when we were talking about before. It's like obviously I have my own biases to how I like the game and how I want the game to be played. And that's just, we need to be cognizant of that. Like, I think it's way too easy nowadays for people to just be like, game sucks, balance sucks. Also, I have no idea what the intention of the developer is, and I'm the best in the world, and they should do what I said. And it's just like, I don't know, you got to get a grip, like at some point, man.
Yeah,
Like,
like it's Like,
Like
let's be for real here. All right, let's stop
everyone's
playing
fucking
pretend.
everyone's fucking dooming about like Tekken 8 right now and just like the state of this game is ridiculous. And it's like, dude, it's the first season, man. They said that they didn't want to do a bunch of balance changes because they didn't want to fuck up the world tour. Does that mean that like I'm super happy with the state of Tekken 8 balance? Or no, not like I don't think it's like phenomenal, but like also it's a vanilla season, and I see their point when they're like, man, Tekken World Tour finals is in 2 months. We would rather not rebalance the game 2 months before that. Like
Out of respect for
yeah,
all those
like
players, you know.
that qualifies. Uh, so yeah, like I don't know. That I just thought this because yeah, I think balance is very interesting and it's very hard. And that's like one of the crux of things is like balance is. I love it. I think it's super interesting to talk about and like conceptually very interesting. I think it's very hard to get right, and I think there are 7 million approaches to how you balance something, and almost none of them work in a vacuum. And like that's like a crazy problem to have to try and fix, Like, but the core idea of really the easiest way to start a balance or fix is actually to say this is what like this is our ideal vision for the game and like what gives us the most balanced version of that, because there's no way to like statistically balance a fighting game, right? Because characters have literally different movesets. If you wanted the most perfectly balanced fighting game, you would have a game where you play 8 palette swaps of Ryu, and that's all 10 characters, and they all have the exact same tool set with the exact same frame data. But no one wants to play that because it sucks. Like, like that's misses the point. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's it. I don't know. Do you have any closing thoughts? I just wanted to yap about fighting game balance for a while.
No,
I
I
have.
mean, fighting game balance is always just very volatile, just generally because of that. Like everybody's very attached to their characters, which is great, but also the health of the game. I'm not gonna sit here and be like the devs know best because a lot of times they think they know what they're doing, but they don't.
Yeah.
But end of the day, like the devs had a vision for the game, so whether they know best or not for the comp scene, they have a vision for the game and they're gonna see it through. And just because your character sucks doesn't mean that they have to shift focus and make your character good. Maybe it doesn't fit
And
the
like,
narrative. Maybe it doesn't, maybe they want a different playstyle for the game. Your character's lucky to be there because it doesn't fit into that. So just be happy you get to play that character as opposed
and
to,
like, I feel like there are certain people who sign up to play certain kinds of characters, and like you almost like the grappler syndrome, right? Like I feel like if you're a grappler player, you know what you're getting into. Like you
yeah.
know that your character has like a theoretical like balance cap because like your playstyle is just simply universally hated. Like like so it's like look at Zangief became like top 3 in Street Fighter 6 for like 4 months, and everyone was like kill this character, hang him from the gallows, guillotine him, make him bottom 1 again. I can't believe this fucking guy exists.
We need to kill this guy
Like,
now.
yeah, literally. Like, and they had to like hot nerf like the him a little bit. And I think from what I know, he's still pretty good, but like he's not as like fucked up as he was. But that's my point. Is like if another character got that, people would like let's say they fucking buffed the shit out of Ken and he was back in top 3. People would complain, but other people would be like, it's fine, it's Ken, who cares? The only reason that the entire world was up in arms, guns out, ready to burn down buildings was because it was Zangief and he was a grappler, and no one wanted to deal with it. Like, I guarantee you, if Pod got pushed into top 1 status, everyone would be fucking losing their mind about, like, this is the worst patch of all time. What the fuck are these guys thinking? I can't believe this character's good. Like, and it's simply because it's a grappler, and people fucking hate fighting
Because
grapplers. Like,
bro could just grab you out of your move.
and then
Get
you die, and
fucked.
it does a ton of damage. Oh, yeah. You know who's not balanced, though? Faker.
I was to say, can I take a
Yeah.
guess?
Yeah, that you want to gander?
I mean, it's fake.
Our good buddy Faker.
Our good buddy Faker. Faker is unkillable
There's
demon king. This, that, and the other.
yeah. There are like 17 million things that you can look at that talk about him. The main reason why, because he won Worlds. Spoiler alert. He won Worlds in a very good final set. One that was actually a lot better than I thought
Shout
it would
out that
be.
guy that said that they weren't gonna win Worlds and that he
Oh,
now
the
has to get
tattoo guy.
the tattoo and eat a tree. I think was also in there.
Dude, there was a lot. I think he had to like sell something as well. Yeah. I was kind of expecting it to be a not super close series. I thought T1 would be like win pretty convincingly. That was not really the case, and it actually ended up being a very close series that was really good. And obviously, people are like, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like we've been on kind of the cusp of this for a while, where like everyone kind of is like nodding in agreement that like, yes, Faker is the greatest League of Legends player of all time.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where like you could be like there's always someone to be like but he was always just kind of one win away from being like, well, there's really no and buts anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't you'd have to be delusional.
He's got what, 5 titles now?
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
rings. Like
He's got the
rings.
Infinity Gauntlet of League of Legends now.
He's done back-to-backs twice now in 2 different eras. Like yeah.
He has remained
Obviously,
consistent on that roster and has won Worlds with different rosters like every time.
Yes.
So like
yeah, it's
we're gonna use a scientific method here, right? Fakers are constant, and he is constantly the best.
Yeah. And I think it double matters for this best of 5 because I don't know if you remember back to 2023 when T1 beat Weibo in a 3-0 stomp, right? That series, if you look back at it, Faker could have like unplugged his fucking keyboard and it wouldn't have mattered. He was playing the game, but like he was not why they were smashing Weibo, like at all. And in this series, not only was he a reason they won, that dude legit saved the game for them in 2 different games off massive ass plays. Like
I keep seeing the Silas clips of him just never dying.
God. Dude, the Silas clip, that Silas clip is fucking nuts. That one, the Galio one he does like later on where he like dives top and like saves a team fight. Yeah, that Silas one is like the Silas recon engage is like one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Like that dude is a nut job. And like that's the thing is like it wasn't just like, oh well, the T1 dragged old man Faker across the finish line, and he just told them how to do it. That dude legit saved their game twice. Like he got them wins in that 2 wins in that series. You can pretty much attribute to him pulling off like against the odds plays against BLG. Who's playing very good, by the way.
Yeah, too. Out of their minds. Like,
yeah, Knight.
Well, they went undefeated that entire tournament.
They were doing really well. I don't know. I don't
even like through
how far they went,
the round robin or Swiss or whatever it was.
They were crazy, and Knight was playing out of his skull, like against Faker. Like when I watched Faker get blasted game 1 on Yone, I was like, ooh boy, this could be a tough series. Like, because like Knight blasted Faker when he picked Yone in game 1. Like it was not close.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a real nail biter series, T1 Faker has now I think the stats are he's continued the record of never losing to a LPL team in a best of 5 at Worlds, which is a crazy statistic. The Chinese cannot beat him on the
Can't stop him, man.
And like, yeah, it's like this was the year that they were like counted out, right? Like they made it as LCK's 4th seed, barely fucking getting in. Like, basically almost did not make Worlds. And then they show up at Worlds and they just blast everybody. It's just like it's Worlds buff is so real for them, it's not even crazy. Like it's not even funny. Like it's insane how nuts that team plays on like the big stage. Like it's crazy to me. Like legitimately crazy. But yeah, I mean he won Worlds. I guess the only thing I wanted to ask, besides, glazing Faker for a little bit, is like his tenure as like a top end player. I don't think it is matchable, not only in any other esport, but like in any sport. Has any player been at the level he's at for as long as he's been at it? Like, it's actually kind of insane. It's like unprecedented.
I mean, in basketball, you have like Jordan and James, right? Those are like the two first ones that come to mind. LeBron James has been playing since he was.
But I don't even think it's been that long.
He's been playing professional basketball at a high level since like high school. Like, granted, his first years on the Cavs weren't great, but by the time like the Big Three era for the Heat came around, he was already at the top of his game. We got him at the top of his game here. Won countless champions with him. It was
when
like
did he win his first championship though? Was that was 2012? Because his first two championships were with the Heat. I'm like 90% sure.
Right? Hold on.
I'm pretty.
He has 4 rings.
Yeah.
2012, 2013, 2016, and 2020.
Yeah. Okay. So, for instance, right, and here obviously we're talking about different lengths of careers, right? Because I think LeBron James has been playing basketball for a lot longer than Faker's been playing League of Legends.
Right.
So, but if we're gonna talk like pure things, the first time LeBron James played in the NBA, I just looked it up, was 2003. He did not win a ring until the Heat.
Right. Which is almost 10 years after he started playing.
Right. Faker won Worlds his rookie year. So literally from the start of this man's career,
he was a superstar.
Now, he has been a top contending player.
No, that's fair.
At the top of his game the entire fucking time. Like, I just don't think it's ever been done in any. And grant, like I said, sports are different. It's it's not. But it is. I do think it is crazy. And it is worth noting how insane this dude's career run is. And I don't think you will ever see it again. Like, hard stop. Like, he's a freak. He's a freak of nature.
Title.
Michael Jordan. I don't know. How many does he have? He
played 15 seasons. He's won. Let me see. 15 seasons is kind of nuts.
Yeah, so that's a long bit.
And he has 6 rings.
6 rings. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of rings.
So he won.
Jordan is probably the closest you'll get.
Yeah.
To a Faker, I would imagine. If I had to think about it.
It's not like ripped apart for like not knowing my basketball history. Hear me out. When Jordan was playing, I was still bunking in a nutsack. So like, I don't want to hear it.
Shit. No, it's true. That's real. We were not born yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
is why I talk about esports. Like,
yeah, I would say I just think it's crazy. I think it's just legitimately crazy, and I do think it is something that, like I said, you will just never see again. And I think that's kind of wild to think about. Like, you're not going to get Faker again. There's no way. It's unprecedented. Like, it's generational. But yeah, I don't know. That's my closing thoughts on Faker. You want to talk about America?
Yeah, let's talk about the Americas. We're gonna come back across the water.
Of Champions in the America?
League of the Americas.
It's League Champions of the America. Champions is in there, but it's not in the acronym.
It's not in the acronym, no, because it's just it's League of Legends Champions of the Americas or something like that. But then they've narrowed it down to League of the Americas.
Yeah.
And we've got the North and South Conference.
Yep.
I'll run down with what I understand from it because I don't entirely get it, and I feel like you have a better understanding of this.
Yeah, I've done some digging myself. So
we've got the North and South Conference, NA Conference, or not NA, but the Northern Conference is what, five teams from NA LCS. Or I guess LCS now because they changed.
It's 7 teams.
7 teams total.
Teams it's 8 teams total.
8 teams total. 7
are straight up like North American.
7 are North American, but 6 of them are like mainstay LCS teams. Right. One is from LLA, and then one is a provisional team. We'll get into that. I know you have some thoughts about that.
No, so one of them is what is called a guest slot. The provisional team I will talk about, but we'll talk about that later because that's a whole different can of worms that we're getting into.
So it's 6 teams, guest slot, LLA, provisional.
No, like I said, the
provisional is the guest slot. Okay.
The provisional is a whole different thing. Like I said, this is a unique instance of this. This is not a mainstay of the thing. It is specifically something to do with a deal between Riot Games, League Esports, and 100 Thieves.
Okay.
So it is not an actual part of the format.
Okay.
But what you're talking about is right. There are basically
and a challenger team.
There's supposed to be 6 NA teams
raised up.
There's a guest slot, which is a tier 2 team.
Yeah, which is disguised right now because they came from challengers.
Which I do want to talk about that too. We'll talk about as we.
What's their like official roster? I've seen the scrims with like Pobelter and Skara.
Oh yeah,
that's not their team.
He's not. I don't think they have a finalized roster yet because I don't think the free agency period is done.
Get on it.
I think Tomo is back on it as their ADC, which is good. Tomo's really good. But yeah, so it is a guest slot is what they call it, and that's for the tier 2 teams. And then you're right, there's the LLA team, which in this case is Lion Gaming. So like your North Conference right now for 2025 is Cloud9, Team Liquid, FlyQuest, Shopify, Dignitas, 100T, Lion Gaming is that LLA team, and Disguised is your guest slot tier 2 team that has worked its way into, basically by winning
tier 1. Yeah.
The last tier 2 split, they have become the first guest slot for tier 1. Yeah. Continue on. Go ahead. Yeah.
Then we have the Southern Conference, which follows a similar thing, but without the guest slot or the provisional slot.
The provisional thing. Yeah, the provisional thing. Yes.
So that's Furia, Pain.
Yep.
Loud.
I can go through the list if you need. I have.
Yeah. Run through that.
It's Fluxo, Furia, Loud, Pain, Red Canids,
and Keed, Vivo Keed.
Yeah, Vivo Keed, Leviathan, which I don't. Yeah, they there might be something special with them. I actually don't quite know. And then Isurus is like basically their tier 2 team.
Who I always think is Vega Squadron, but it's not Vega Squadron.
Okay.
They both have a shark. I get confused.
From what I understand, Isurus was like a LATAM tier 2 team that in the same way Disguised is, but for the South Conference.
Yeah.
The LTA South.
So those 2 regions play in 3 splits. So they'll each play out their own.
The entire world is on 3 splits now. It's not. Yeah.
And they're all playing on live patch now, or is it just LTA is on live patch?
I think LTA
is on live. I know that.
Patch, because obviously that was like a big deal with LCS this year was that we're live patch. So all of LTA is live patch. I don't know if the rest of the world
are they bringing that pick thing from like the collegiate system into it.
Fearless.
Oh no, like the way they did like the picking, like so like you pick a champion in a best of 3 series, you can't pick it again for the rest of that series.
You're talking about Fearless draft.
Yeah. Are they doing that or
split 1 is entirely Fearless.
Awesome. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. I think that's I think Fearless is so sick.
I think it's cool.
I've been saying this. I've been saying this for years, man. I'm like, how do I get to not see the same fucking heroes every tournament? This is how. Sick of it. I'm sick of the stagnation. I'm sick of fuck it, dude. We just gotta slam Corky every game. Like that is so boring to watch. I want to pull my hair out. I'm like, where's the creativity? Where's the flexibility? Like, let these players really show off their chops. Because like, I'm certain there's like, okay, well yeah, I play what's meta, but it's like just play what you're good at, man. Just play your signature champion. I don't care if it's good. I don't care if it sucks. Right? Play it. Just play it once. Right? That's why they played fucking Pyke at Worlds. Like, Pyke isn't great. Bro just wanted a skin. So he played it.
Area loves his Pyke. Yes. He picks some suspect Pyke angles, but he loves his Pyke.
Loves Pyke. But yeah, Fearless is cool.
So yeah, split 1 is Fearless.
They play 3 splits. First one, and then the split finals are played in all 3 regions.
Yeah, it rotates
all 3 regions because it's not like Brazil is also just Latin America, but
yeah, they're gonna rotate finals.
They'll put it in Mexico City or something. I don't
Brazil,
know.
Yeah.
It'll be in like Chile. I don't know.
Slightly modified import rule.
Yeah, so you can only have a majority team per region. So like, you can only have like, so like you can't have a majority like Brazilian team in the Northern Conference, but you can in the Southern Conference. You can't be a majority like Canadian in the Southern Conference, but
basically the import slots are remaining import slots, so every team has 2 import slots like normal. The only difference is they now offer one of the remaining slots can be like a flex slot
because all players have residency for the region.
Yeah.
So
like technically it is allowed that you can have 2 North American players, 1 LATAM player, and then 2 Koreans, right? That's a totally legal team in the new rule set. Because they allow 1 flex between the regions.
Dude, I don't even think a Weibo player has even heard of a favela. I want to see what they think.
Dude, what do you fucking the what was it? Rainbow 7 was running fucking Summit as their top laner, Korean Master Summit.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's kind of the new roster rules. Like you said, there's 3 splits now. The first split is basically a Fearless tournament, like we were talking about. The teams will all start in their own conference. They essentially go through a best of 3 bracket, I'm pretty sure it is, to like, and by the end of the regular season, you get out of that bracket and it becomes like an interconference bracket after that. So the winning teams from both brackets face in their own Fearless tournament. And basically whoever wins it all goes to the new 3rd international event that they have made, which is apparently an all Fearless event. But it's only 1 team qualifies from each region. Or each conference, I should say, whatever they're calling them now. And then, that's split 1. Split
2 is what really threw me through a loop.
Yeah,
because it's like
2 is where
they get to pick who they want to play, but they can only pick people that like are doing better than them.
So
is that split 2 or 3?
Okay, no, that's 3. Yeah, okay. Split 2 is actually pretty normal. Split 2 it's I believe double round robin. It's like pretty normal. It's like it's best of 1s, double round robin. Eventually you get
points, you get seeded, you play out whatever, you get eliminated.
You hit MSI, whatever. The 3rd split is this new one where essentially at the start of the week they seed out 1 to 8 based on prior results of I think the previous splits. I don't know if put together or just the one before it. So first seed plays 8th seed, second seed plays 7th seed, normal shit. But for every week onward, the teams that are 0, like the teams who lose week 1, right? So all the teams that become 0-1 now pick their opponent.
But they can't be the person they just played, and they have to be someone that is doing better.
Better record. Yeah, so you as a 0-1 team
have to pick a 1-0, but it can't be the person you just played.
But it can't be the person you played, right?
Why?
I don't know. That's
what the fuck does that even matter? Like, why?
I don't know.
And it's like because like you gotta call them out or give the power to the players. I was like, what, you want to like just get their ass beat again? Like you get to choose who's gonna do it now? Like.
So here's my thought process on season 3. I am in a see it to believe it kind of mentality. I'm willing to give them the chance to prove
why is there a gimmick?
This format matters.
Why does like every Riot sanctioned event have like a gimmick for its like group stages? I don't get it. It's like next year's gonna be like you gotta beat this team at kickball if you want to play them. And it's like, what the fuck, dude?
Because basically it goes like that until you get to, I believe, week 4 is when they turn into best of 3s, and that's where teams start getting like full eliminated prior to leading into Worlds. And then obviously the winner makes it to Worlds, and we go from there. And we have one less slot now because South America took our slot. No shit.
I don't listen. I don't know why every other region gets like 4 slots and we have 2, but
and we have 2 question mark because that one in the middle is technically fought
it's
over
a coin
between
flip.
us and them.
Yeah, like
so if our team doesn't win, we don't get that slot.
Tell me you hate LATAM esports without telling me you hate LATAM esports. Like why can't they just have an extra slot? Like why do they have to compete for a guest slot?
So part of me gets it because Worlds is too long. We were just talking about
Worlds
it.
is too long.
And like
so
you
long,
need to cut down on the number of teams going.
Just eliminate
this
people
cuts
earlier.
Down the number of teams going.
Dude,
it is what it is. I get it from.
You mean to tell me you can't have a tournament with the top 16 teams and you have, what is it? You could take 4 teams from 4 regions and then just do that like East Asia, right? Korea, China are your 2 biggest East Asian regions. Yeah. 4 teams, 2 teams each. That's fine. Europe, 4 slots, 2 teams each.
I see what you're saying. That would require them to tell China and Korea they only get 2 slots, and they're just never gonna. They're just never gonna tell China and Korea that they can only have 2 slots each. It's just not gonna happen. I get it.
The Americas are combined now, so we get 2 slots. Fine, give Europe 2 slots. I don't know, man. China, Korea 4.
I feel you, brother.
Why are we investing all, like, they have esports infrastructure already. Why are we not fostering communities in the places that don't have the proper infrastructure for it? It's already established. It's televised. They travel. Talking about this last episode. But why do we keep needing to give them more screen time? They have enough. They have enough.
Yep. Well, so I'm sorry. Now that we have a base, no, you're fine. Now that we have a base idea of the format and the LTA and what it is, first off, the name. What do you think? LTA. What are your thoughts?
It's fine. Gets the point across. It's
I know you're a
pretty
logo guy,
it's
too,
pretty different. Oh, dude, their logo's like super made. It's super
really?
made.
I like it. I
like the individual logos.
Like yeah.
I don't like the combined logo.
Really? Oh, see, I think that's so cool. I actually thought that was cool.
Like it's clever. It's clever because it's a big A. I get it. Like, hold on, let me pull it up. LTA League. Liquipedia. There we go. One-stop shop. So North looks like the Homeworld logo. Okay. South looks like the Division logo.
Yeah. This is kind of true, sure. But they come together.
And they come together and they make an A, and it's a big cool A. And it's fine, but when I think the best out of all of the logos for League Esports, I think the best one is the LEC.
The crown, yeah. I am also into it.
Is that a crown?
That's what I always assumed it was.
Dude, like no, it's right? it's like the level up like glow like coming up from the ground. It's a circle with the. That's what it looks like to me. Maybe it is a crown because Europeans, but it's like
I always looked at it and I assumed it was a crown straight up. I never even. I mean, you might be right, but
no,
yeah,
it's like the level up like glow thing. It's like a particle effect. LCP looks more like a crown.
Huh?
The Southeast Asia one.
Yeah, I don't. But LEC. Maybe I don't know.
Because it's not connected. They're 2 separate pieces.
Yeah, but like that's just stylistic.
I guess so. No, I get it, but like yeah. But no, it's fine. It just looks really big and clunky, and it's.
I think so. I guess to follow up on this, I'm curious because obviously the elephant in the room is the LCS isn't a brand anymore, right?
Yes.
So like, it's gone. And I know some people have more attachment to that than others. I don't know if you're like a big brand guy, if you have like attachment to like a brand like that.
Dude,
I'm
it's
someone that's
esports.
like, yeah, yeah,
Teams dissolve
yeah.
like at random every other weekend. My
You're
allegiance is to the players. I could care not for the org they're on. I don't even care if they're even signed to a team.
How are you supposed to have brand loyalty when teams just don't exist past
Dude, TSM had a Dota team for like a year, and they are gone. I was going through it because I'm like, oh, what happened to them? They all went to Undying, and then I was following like Timido through the whole thing, and he went to like 6 different teams after that, like year after year, and it was, man, you gotta have loyalty to the players.
No,
right? What was GameStop's slogan? Power to the players.
Power to the players.
Power to the players, man. That's the esports motto. You can't have brand loyalty unless you're like a Liquid or Cloud9 fan. Like those teams are never going anywhere.
Oh, we'll get into having loyalty to a team. Don't you worry. Once
like
I go through these other things.
Unless you have like a Reginald situation, those teams like aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's so no, I don't have brand loyalty to the LCS. I think it doesn't make any sense. Like their logo was cool. The fact that it spelled out LCS with a diamond, that was sick. Other than that, it was whatever. Like they got rid of all their good skits. They kind of just it kind of just ran as, hey, NA's on today, NA's done. See you next week, everybody.
So, in my opinion, the product of my opinion is that like I actually don't care too much about the brand of the LCS, right?
Yeah.
If the North Conference of it's
just gonna be the same
League
thing.
Of the Americas. Well, yeah, and that's my opinion. Is as long as it is the same thing, I'm happy because the product of like the LCS product, the weekend streams, the people on it, the analysis, the bits, stuff like that. I actually think they've been hitting for like 2 splits now, like 2 splits straight. They've been hitting hardcore. And yeah, so as long as the quality on that does not diminish, then like I actually don't give a fuck what you call it. You can call it the LCS.
If anything, I think it's gonna be better.
As long as I got Raz, Jat, and Emily talking to me before every game, we're golden. Like
I think it's gonna be
chilling. Like,
I think it's gonna be better because we're giving more screen time to LATAM esports, and
sure, yeah.
As we've talked many times on the show before, we're here for the little guy. We're here for the underserviced region, and especially in League, the LLA, CB LOL, that was always, underserviced in terms of viewership, in terms of.
Well, it was big in their own region.
It was big domestically, but I'm saying domestic. Now, like LTA, because it's running through the same kind of circuit that the LCS was, that you'll have more. You have cross-pollination. Like more.
They are forced to.
You have more eyes on it. Yeah, like even from like the NA crowd, even if it's not the European crowd, like watching the Koreans or the Chinese, you'll have more interaction from the NA crowd because it's like, okay, I see LTA is on today, I'll throw on a game, right?
Yeah.
And there's more League to watch throughout the week. Always a dub.
Yeah. Speaking of the little guy, so Disguised is our first guest slot coming up from the tier 2.
They are only missing a mid laner, by the way. I pulled up their roster.
Oh, they have a roster?
Yeah, so it's Tenacity, Minwi, Pume, and Chitong. So their top laners, Tenacity, bot laners, Minwi. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Okay.
Pume is their support.
Yeah, Poom gang.
Is it Poom?
Yeah.
Okay, Poom and Chitong is their support. They have 2 supports. They have a sub.
They have a sub support.
They have a sub support. So they're missing an ADC and a mid laner. They're missing a mid laner and jungler. I'm tripping.
Tenacity being their top laner is kind of crazy. Um, I personally, I was pretty happy to see that they were the first ones to make it in. We've talked before. I think we talked about it last episode about Disguise and Toast specifically, like his
Him
kind of
building a team
contributions
and
to
everything.
growing a team and an org and a scene.
Hmm.
Um, I found out today through listening to Hotline League, which he was on it, and like Travis was talking to him. If you sub to the Disguised Patreon, did you know that they publish their like team budget on there, so you can see exactly how much players are being paid?
That's sick.
That's crazy.
That's
Like
I like it's
it
kind of
was
nuts and like strange
yeah.
and weird, but I think it's really
It's
cool that we
I
get
would
to
say
that
it is a
insight.
cool it is a cool level of transparency, but it
Yeah.
was very funny because his whole thing is like, yeah, the way we treat it is the Patreon. Everyone who's giving us money on Patreon is in theory like a shareholder, so they're allowed to see our financial reports. So you can see how much we're paying each player. And like it was so funny because he was on with Jungle Juice, who is the general manager for League of Legends at 100 Thieves,
Hmm.
and he was like, and Toast like, yes, you can see exactly his. I think Toast's exact words are like, so you can see exactly how much our players are being paid. So if someone is overperforming and you see they're being paid, minimum, you can be like, give this guy a raise. Or if a guy is underperforming and you see he's being paid league minimum, you can be like, oh well, he's only being paid league minimum. It's really not that bad. And he's like, or in a weird case, if you see someone is making a ton of money and they're playing bad, you can just say, why the fuck is that guy paycheck stealing? Get him off your team. But it was so funny because he said that, and I'm not kidding. Like, you can look at Jungle Juice's face as like a general manager of a league team, and he just went like, that's nuts. I can't believe you do that. Like, he was shocked.
Just
Like, at the
flabbergasted.
idea
Just
that
baffled.
like all of the players' financials were just out like that for like the public to access for like the fee of $5 on a Patreon.
They should put like a ticker under them about like big purchases they made. Like it's like, oh, Poom bought a Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's like this is what his
Yeah.
paycheck is going towards.
So wild shit. But like we were saying, I do think it's very cool, and I am happy that his team is maybe the first one to take this spot. Um, some finer points about the rules of that slot is it is the one slot in the league that is a promotion relegation slot.
Hmm.
So essentially, what that means is, um, basically at the end of the split, they have to play against the current best tier 2 team in I'm assuming a best of 5
To keep
um
their slot
to
in
keep
the
the slot. Yeah,
LTA.
if they don't win, they will go back down to tier 2, and whatever tier 2 slot or tier 2 team beat them becomes the new tier 1 guest slot. So pretty cool, makes obviously
Yep.
like a high stakes thing for them. And it just I think gets some of these smaller orgs, possibly into the league to do stuff, and it's cool to see that he was someone who's dedicated so much and has been and putting forward so much for his team and like his league to be the first one to have that slot is really nice. I don't know. I think it's just generally cool. It's cool to see. I'm glad that Disguise was the one to take it.
I'm real. That's some homegrown
Yeah.
esports right there too.
Right.
With all that,
Exactly.
like he's and just the journey of it all. It's super interesting if you care anything about the management of esports or just the behind the scenes and not just hitting buttons and winning
Yeah.
trophies. It's super sick to watch that. And if you're not into League, One and his team Drillas just made it to the Asian RMR or through the Asian RMR, whatever, however that works. It doesn't they qualify, but it's like a separate tournament. It's so weird. Anyways, they made it to Shanghai. He's in China right now. He had an interview with the HLTV come out I think today, and yeah, no, it's just a lot of new teams are coming up. A lot of new teams are coming
Yeah.
out, especially in the games that allow for it a bit easier, like in CS and Dota, where it's a bit
Oh
more
yeah.
open. And it's just fun to all the people documenting. It's just fun to see how that works, and it's good for the future because
Yeah.
it makes it easier for investors to make more educated decisions on how they want to invest in esports, and gives them a projection on the future of the sport,
Yeah.
of the brand. Yeah.
Smart. Um. So on the contrary to this, we have the 100 Thieves situation.
Lay it on me.
So,
I know that they're there. I know there's some words being
100 Thieves
exchanged.
has a provisional guest slot. The reason this exists, the reason that all of this is a thing, the reason why this is an asterisk next to their name, is basically they said, hey, the league is restructuring. We want out. We would like Riot to buy our slot back. Period, point blank. Riot basically, and I can only speak on exactly what we know, but to summarize what is out there, Riot said, hey, we're already going through a big transitional period. We'll buy the slot back. Like, here is the money. Like, take the money for your slot. Stay in it for
just play out this season.
Yeah, just play out this season because we don't want to hastily replace you with someone who's terrible. So you play in the split for a season, you field a team, we'll interview partners during the course of this year and figure out who we want to replace you, or if and basically they kind of said maybe 100T gets maybe they change their mind at the end of the year and they're like, actually, we're buying back in. Here's the money, give us our slot back. Or Riot finds somebody else and says, okay, end of the year.
They tell Immortals they're back in.
Yeah, God, please no. Yeah, we interviewed somebody.
They drag another LLA team up there.
Yeah, thank you.
Honestly, probably would be the better choice, considering how 4 out of the 6 teams in South are CB LOL teams. You give LLA some more representation up here. I think that'd be really cool.
So I have strong opinions about this. Specifically, because first of all, it's 100 Thieves. You field this roster. You've acquired talent like River, you've got Viper, you've got all these major dudes doing big things, and you bomb out at Worlds. Straight up, there's no other way to say it. They bombed out at Worlds. They got NA its first loss to they're not called wildcard regions anymore, but at one point they were. We don't make it out of play-ins.
A team that made it through an LCQ, and
then you're like, all right, well, we're out. They let you in. And basically, so my real ire for this whole situation starts with so if you're not familiar with this is some real inside baseball shit. But there's a guy who is on Twitter, and he does a bunch of stuff, pretty well known in the very small niche. He's been on a lot of league podcasts and stuff, which is why people know him. It's a dude named David Shynock, really big 100 Thieves fan, just loves 100 Thieves. He's been on Hotline League a bunch of times, and he does a lot of community, we were talking about community based organizing for them out where he's at, which I think is New York or something.
Okay. Nice.
He does a lot of community building specifically for 100 Thieves. He's always a big man in their corner. So obviously news comes out that 100 Thieves yeah, we want it out, but Riot said stick around for a year, so we'll stick around for a year, but we're going to have an AMA and we're going to talk about, if you League fans got any questions, whatever, let me know. Basically, I forget the question that was asked, but the current head of 100T, I forget his name. It's fucking. Yeah, I'm not gonna remember. Is it Julie? I think Julie's his name, or Jacob, something like that.
I can pull it. I'll look for it.
The COO or whatever of 100 Thieves currently, and basically they were doing the AMA, and somebody asked, "Hey, I understand that 100 Thieves has teams.
So their owners are Matthew Hag,
That's
Valkyrie,
yeah.
Drake, Courage JD, Scooter Braun, and Dan Gilbert. And then their president is John Robinson.
So it was John Robinson. That is who gave the AMA, I'm pretty sure, was John Robinson. So basically in that AMA, someone was like, hey, obviously, like, what do you have to say about like someone who is fully invested in not like League of Legends as a game, but specifically 100 Thieves League of Legends? Like, that's what they care about. They came to 100 Thieves for their league team, and like they are fully invested in supporting a 100 Thieves league team. What are you saying about like, what is this saying to us as like fans of League of Legends? And the verbatim response that I have written here from John Robinson in that AMA was, I think if you're focused on LoL and LoL alone, and your priority is to devote your time and energy as a fan to a team that has the highest probability of lifetime involvement with League of Legends, then I would recommend putting your trust in C9 and Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. Those are like the mainstays, but that's kind of like an FU to the 100 Thieves fans.
Them to go fuck themselves
and go jump ship to another team.
That's insanity.
Dude, the president of the company doesn't even have brand loyalty to his own team. That's crazy.
You're like, hey man, I'm a League of Legends fan. I love 100T League of Legends. I came to League of Legends because of you, and you're like, well, fuck, man, you should go support C9 or fucking.
Yeah,
you're not a COD fan? Come on, brother. Like.
You're not 30? What?
just like, bro, you don't like 100 Thieves plays Valorant, man. You don't want to watch. What the fuck?
Like, I could get it if like some analyst or just like some random schmuck on a podcast said that, but the president of their company, who is heavily invested in their League of Legends division, saying that to their fans at like a fan event, and it's like, yeah, if you want to care about League, go to a different team because we don't even care about League.
This isn't an AMA that 90% of the people there are coming because they are worried or like upset about the League of Legends news.
Yeah,
because they saw that like,
they're League fans.
What the fuck? This might be the last year of 100T like in League. What's going on? And you literally just point at them and go, yeah, man, I don't know. If you don't care about other shit, like, I guess fuck
Liquid's
off.
got a team. You guys like Liquid?
Yeah. C9's been around a while. You should go hang out with them. Like,
you guys like Mango?
That's fucking nuts. Like, and like I said, you have talent, which, like, I guess we'll see what the offseason brings to see, like, who they're fielding. But, like, if you're going to tell me that you're going to keep contracts of people like River or Viper and, like, not even be around next year, like, fuck you. At least do these players a favor and get them to a good home before you fucking nuke yourself out of existence.
Yeah.
Like
work out their contracts with another team or something. Like, give these players the opportunity to continue playing.
River is a fantastic jungler. We should not, like, let him go back to Korea, like, straight up. I mean, if he really wants to, obviously, don't keep him here. But, like, if we can help it, like, we should keep him in the league. Obviously, Viper is a very
another instance of NA shooting themselves in the foot because C9 let their best NA players just walk off to EU or back to Korea.
Yeah, I keep on saying Viper, not Viper. Viper's his brother. Fucking why am I forgetting his name? Sniper. Yeah, that's Viper's his brother.
Yeah.
Sniper, yeah. And the instance of Sniper, who, obviously upstart top laner,
just played his first season in the LCS, made it to Worlds. I think his
first or second, obviously. So it's like, once again, please God, find this guy a good home. Do not let him go disappear into tier 2 for some reason and never be found again.
Or get shipped off to Europe.
Thankfully, he's not he could be JoJo good. I don't want to, but right now, as things stand, he's not JoJo good. So do I think he's getting offers from Europe? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about that. But you're right. The point stands is we should not have another JoJo situation where we're letting talent just disappear.
We need to just foster the
ether.
talent that we have.
Yeah.
And support it.
Yeah. So it's to me, it's I guess we'll see what their roster is, but it's boy, I sure hope that you're going out of your way if you're not going to be here next year to find these players homes, to make sure that they're staying in the ecosystem and helping support it. Because clearly you don't give a fuck because you have to pay for another COD roster or whatever the fuck you're doing. Fucking hoodie orgs, man. I can't to me, like I said, I feel free to give me your take on it, but I just find all this provisional shit like such a fucking. They're just so it's such a half-assed like.
It's
Yeah, I don't know.
like
100
on
T's
one
like,
hand, I think it's
fuck
like
you. We don't care. Fuck you. Like,
sure, if it was just to like if it's like, hey, the league thing, like our roster isn't working out great. Um like we think that there's a better move in another game and we want out so that we can apply that to somewhere else. I think that's fine. To tell your fans though, to be like to just be like, yeah, we're leaving and like you guys shouldn't care that much because we don't care that much is kind of shitty because you've developed a fan base. You've signed players, you've signed content creators to not only the team but to the management that
yeah.
people interact with and are already fans of. To just be like to tell their audience to pretty much go fuck themselves because the brand that they came there for doesn't care about them anymore because they're just out of the scene is
And
it's shitty. It's super shitty and it shouldn't be happening. Like I don't.
and to me, it's like it'd be one thing. Like it'd be like I said, if you and I get it. It's kind of like a weird hands tied situation because and also they're like Jungle Juice is like I said the general manager of like the league program at
Yeah.
100T and he has come out and it's like that dude is clearly dedicated to League of Legends, right?
Yes.
It's not like he's also like, man, I hope these guys fucking take me out to pasture and like
Yeah. What's gonna happen
obviously
to
that
this
dude
guy?
gives a fuck. And like basically he made it clear on like fucking, the Hotline League where he's like, listen, like I have every intention and everyone that we are putting together in League of Legends right now, like we're not just phoning in a year, like we're gonna treat this like any other year, like we are going out of our way to make sure we're fielding a good roster and that we're getting results and like we care whether we're here next year or not. That's not up to me, but like I'm not even thinking about it. It's just like I'm thinking about playing our best year of League of Legends that we can in the current year, and that's great to me. It's like I almost wonder, and like I said, it's super weird because it's like it is such a hand tied situation where it's like on one end they wanted out and they basically told Riot we wanted out, and Riot was like, okay, you can leave, like we'll pay you for the slot, but like also just stick around. Like Riot like told them to, right? Like Riot Esports was like,
Like yeah, just play it
yeah,
out.
play for the year so we can field better. Like basically, so they were like, so we can interview people and we don't have to like hastily replace you with someone who's going to be terrible. Stick it out. We'll figure out who's going to replace you in the meantime. And then like I said, maybe some gift of God, they're just like, actually, we want back in. We're buying in for next year,
Yeah.
which I super don't see happening, especially when you're fucking issuing statements like that. Um, and that's the thing is like I don't know when it almost feels like maybe it's the statement that makes me feel this way, but to me it super feels that way where it's just like okay then why the fuck are you even here? Like why are you playing the year out then? If like you are so committed to just not being here next year that you're telling your fans to just find another team, like then what's the point? Like how can I trust in you to put together a competitive roster when clearly your upper management sees everyone there as a second class citizen?
Yeah.
Like yeah, I just think that's stupid as fuck. Like super scummy, really shitty. Like yeah, super shitty. Like
I'm gonna go to their. I want to see what other games they're in. I know it's COD. I know they have Apex team.
no, they don't have an Apex team.
They don't have an Apex team. Thought
They
they did.
did, and guess what? They cut that roster and it went away. Dude, that's like Nicewig's big because Nicewig is a content creator that's sponsored by 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
And like that's the joke on his thing like half the time is whenever he talks about like teams coming into Apex, he's like he always makes jokes. He's like, "Man, it'd be really cool if the org that sponsors me fielded a team in the esport that I covered." Like like he says it himself. Like, yeah, they left Apex. Like they're not in Apex.
Yeah.
They're leaving League.
They got a Valorant team. They've got a
They got a Valorant
COD
team. They got a
roster.
COD team.
That's it. It's actually just COD and Valorant now.
Fucking hoodie org, bro. I'm telling you. God. And dude, and I'm sure this is somebody's cup of tea, right? But like, whatever. I don't care because we hate for a living.
Big hating all the time.
We're paying Valkyrie how much a year? We're paying Courage how much a year? Like,
Plus their Twitch check.
come on, man. Like, if you want to be like, if you want to be Phase 2.0 with a content team, like, I don't know, do it on your own dime. Don't fucking call yourself an org and cut all your teams so you can pay content creators.
But even like FaZe, like look at FaZe now. FaZe went from like the content house, like org or whatever you want to call them, to now like they've got. Dude, what is their website? They've like done something to their website.
I mean, they have
fucking sense.
So they have an Apex team. I know for a fact they have an Apex team that's in like I think the EMEA region. Like they're in Apex. I'm assuming they're probably in COD. If FaZe, well, maybe not. I actually don't know. I know COD League was really expensive.
They've got a Counter-Strike team.
Yep,
they've got a COD team. Yep. Halo, R6.
Yep. Apex.
R1. I don't know what that is. Oh, is that RL? No, it's R1.
Rocket League? Oh.
No, because they have Rocket League, they have Tekken, Fortnite, FIFA.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Smash.
one of my favorite
it might be a
Tekken
racing
players
game
of all time. Oh yeah, maybe.
R1 might be a racing
game. One of my favorite Tekken players, Joey Fury. FaZe Clan. Like
PUBG and PUBG Mobile. Like they have teams spread across.
Yeah.
Tons of games.
Like, and yeah, so that's my thing is like if you want to be the content org, you want to be the fucking content org, then say you want to be the content org.
Yeah.
Like, stop with, like I said, it's the fact that they are down to a team in 2 different esports exclusively is nuts, man. I hate that.
How many truly content creators are they paying now, though? Dude, the creators, they have...
Yeah, how many?
Let's see. I'm not going to count Nate Shot because Nate Shot's like...
No, yeah.
He's like their guy. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 they have listed as creators. I don't know what kind of content they make. It might be some of their fashion people as well for their hoodies and stuff like that. It might not all be... they have a TikTok creator. They've got like a social media guys across like Twitter and Instagram. But like streamers, I'll have to like go back through and look. But it's give or take, it's like 13 people. Like they have as many content creators that are like streaming and stuff for them as FaZe has full on teams. So like
yeah, dude. We're like I am now on the same page that you are. And out of these people here, like looking through all of the people that they have listed as, 100 Thieves creators, right? I see obviously, Wig is fantastic. That dude does so much for the Apex scene. Obviously deserves his check, 100%. You've got motherfuckers like does Yasuo even stream anymore? Like, what does that guy do? Does like anyone know what that guy? Doesn't he just like gamble on Kick? Like, doesn't he just play slot machines? It's like we're sponsoring that guy.
He just like shows up on a trade rec stream every once in a while.
Yeah, like I don't like. Obviously, Timmy. Yeah, I mean, fuck. Timmy's playing competitive for Moist. He's on. He's on
a different org. Dude, they have two Apex players signed and they don't have an Apex team. This is fucking nuts.
And granted, I get it. I'm not a TikTok guy. Who is Josh CHX? What's he doing? Who's the golf guy? Who's Zach TTG?
Like some of these have to be like some like their social people. Like some people like running the social media posts.
I don't know. I hope. I'll say that. I don't think so because you're telling me like Wools. This guy Wools. Once again, no fucking clue who he is. He has 1.4 million TikTok followers. They had to have hired that guy for that number, right?
Yeah.
They had to have. I never heard of this fucking guy in my life. Never. Like, and how much are we playing?
Do half of these people even make esports content? Like, are they even making any content for esports across
I almost guarantee you they're not. Like I said,
he's a variety streamer. Some of them are variety streamers. Yeah, this guy's playing TCG.
Like I know some of them. Like I know Peter Park, and like I think he's a decently funny dude. But like that's like you said, that's a variety streamer.
Yeah.
Foozley's a OTK or not OTK, like an OTV like just chatting streamer. Like like yeah, these people are not like
I like
they're not
Hiko.
esports people. Like
I'm a
sure,
Hiko fan.
obviously like X CS:GO, like obviously there's and like I'll even be fair to I know I talked some shit on Courage from the jump. Obviously that guy's like not my speed, like he's playing to a different crowd, but like I've heard him talk, like they brought him on to like co-cast like League of Legends in an LCS game, and I was like, oh, this guy's entertaining, like he knows what he's doing, he's a funny dude.
He's been around like the esports space too, not just like content creation. I think he plays a lot of Warzone, right?
I think he's a Fortnite guy.
I know he's big on Fortnite. I think he likes Twitch, whatever.
So you're right, exactly. He has been around the space.
Like he's got a background in it. And
same thing with like I think Enable was a COD pro like at one point. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe in other FPSs too. So it's like stuff like that. Sure, 100%. I get it. Especially if they're like retired pros, like in the Hiko case or whatever, totally fine. In cases like Wig, who is one of the people like boosting Apex, putting that shit on his back, and like actively uplifting that esport. Yeah, obviously. But like you said, they have Wig, one of the arguably the biggest face in Apex esports, from like as far as like pushing it out to the rest of the world. And they have It's Timmy, one of the best competitive players in Apex esports.
They have 2 out of 3 players to make a team.
Yeah.
And they just won't farm another player to make a team.
Well, it's like I don't even think like you get Nicewig to play competitive anymore. That dude, you can't even get that guy to play ranked for more than an hour before he wants to.
He could coach at least, if anything. Like I'm sure he'd be down to do that.
The point stands is you have 2 of the biggest faces in the game. You're not gonna find 3 players to fill a team for that.
Or 2, because you could just
you could put Timmy.
You could buy out Timmy from Moist.
I would say no, it's.
I'm sure Charlie could use the money.
God,
come on.
Dude, he's not on Moist anymore too. I forgot he's back on Disguised.
Okay.
Because Moist disbanded, but still, the point stands.
Toast is cutting him a check.
Yeah. Or maybe they're back as Dojo again. I forget. Roster Mania, bro. Yeah, they're Dojo. I think. Yeah, they're Dojo. He's not Disguised. Yeah, he's Dojo again. But that is my point. That's what I'm saying. Is we are talking about, like you said, they have one of the best players in the game, like one of the best MNKs in the game. You could be like, hey, Timmy, we're going to get you 2 more players, and you can be the 100 Thieves Apex roster. But no, we got our boy, fucking JHB, doing whatever our boy JHB does.
Just because I don't know, man. I think it comes from like...
We got 2.2 million subscribers, David, with a
it's gotta come from like... It's gotta come from like a vision from like esports past, I feel like, where this all just like comes from. Where like if we're cutting League and we're cutting Apex to invest solely into COD, and we're keeping Valorant because Valorant's hot and new and it's making enough money, right? Because they have Valorant, they have like the esports charm thing.
Like a world championship team. Like that's the thing, is like obviously like you're not gonna cut like a Valorant roster like that because you're fielding like a team that was like literally 1 VCT. Like if you cut that shit, you're insane. But like, man, it's possible.
But like if we're all inning on COD, I feel like you're just fast tracking to be like the next Optic, right? Because we talked about Optic before and how Optic is, they just exist in COD and Halo, and those games haven't been the esports they were since like the 2010s MLG, right? Like people are like I think the last time I watched a pro COD match was like a BO3 game or like a BO4 game. Yeah. And even then, like you're still only getting like a couple thousand viewers. Like you're not peaking out of that to like the 100,000, the couple million viewers that the other games are getting. So like if it's not for, so it's either content and COD, and that's it. Where it's like, sure, but like even then, like what are people still watching content creators for the most part? Because every content creator like that I know of that's, poking into relevancy, at least in my spheres, are they do content and then they engage in esports. Like I still see Ludwig around because he still like is organizing tournaments for like Rivals or Smash or something, or League or something like that. Or
so that's my thing, right? Is if we're gonna talk like the content creator aspect of it, it's just like, bro, how much are these TikTok stars that you're signing for probably absurd checks? I would like to see the numbers on how much revenue they are generating you as the company. Because I just can't. You can't right now. I do not believe you if you tell me these people are worth the money you're probably paying them.
But then again, if you're spending that much
TikTokers
and you're sinking all this money into them, you probably just don't have enough to facilitate a league team anymore.
Yeah,
right?
But
if the numbers aren't there.
If you're telling, but like, I just refuse to believe that fielding a good League of Legends roster won't generate you more revenue than this fucking 4 million, follower TikToker. Like, what are you taking the ad revenue on his TikToks? There's no way he signed that shit over. He probably has a lawyer. Like, so what are you getting out of him? I don't like actually like what is your
put the logo? You put the logo on your overlay. And
guess what? Not a single motherfucker who's 12 years old watching him is gonna know. Like they're gonna be like, "Yep, that's a logo." Like
they're not even watching. They're not even watching. They're not even watching COD. Like the fans you're garnering from that are like Fortnite kids for the most part.
Or
like Fortnite adjacent, or like Warzone at the least, right? And competitive Warzone is a mess. Yeah. It's like, you ever watch like a Warzone tournament?
No.
So
no, I have not.
Back before all the doc stuff, right? When I was a doc viewer, I was a doc in a
dabbled.
I was a doc in what's it, Tim the Tapman fan.
Of course.
Now it's Tim and Lupo. I like those guys.
Lupo's cool.
Lupo's sick. I love Lupo. I like what he said about the whole situation too, but that this isn't the place for that. Yeah. But it's very straightforward, it's very to the point, and it's very concise on why you shouldn't still be following Doc. That being said, I would watch his Warzone streams, and they'd play the 3v3s and they'd play in tournaments, and it's like I would open the stream and he'd be like, tournaments in 45 minutes, and then they would like gather everybody, and then they'd be like, all right, we're waiting in the lobby for the tournament. The tournament wouldn't start for like another hour because like TOs couldn't get their shit together. Warzone servers are a mess, like finding all these players, and then you'd get in, and then it's like, well, the anti-cheat sucks, so nobody's getting screened for hacks, and then we have to pause and reset each game because there's like some team that has a guy with walls on it, and then it was just nonsense. And it's like, I haven't seen, like, we live in a day and age where everything is so pretty like set up for esports. Like we talked about esports ready at one point, and like, we have lobby systems. Like people, like, for a while, I remember like it was like early Fortnite and early Warzone where you had to just like load into a game, and there was like lobbies that you would have to queue at the same time as everybody in the tournament, and then you would have to check your lobby code to see if you were in the right lobby. And then you'd have to leave and restart every single time if you weren't, because like you couldn't.
Yeah.
There weren't private matches. You would have to gain points through your own and stream the whole thing. And then if there was hackers sniping you, like you were just fucked. Like Warzone was such a it still is just a clusterfuck of an esport. And there's no way, driving it home, sorry for that tangent, but driving it home here, there's no way that you were garnering, like, that's the reason why there's like no signed Warzone players on like a lot of these orgs, because it's like, it's just like that is like a variety streamer type game. It's on par with the Fortnites. Like you don't see as many orgs in Fortnite anymore. Like FaZe is one of the big ones, but FaZe is everywhere because FaZe has been a mainstay in esports for like 2 decades almost. Like since the start, like FaZe was like the quintessential org. Like everybody knows FaZe.
Yeah, of course.
You've got like rappers signed to FaZe. Like it's crazy. So like, I don't know. I don't think it's ever worth putting that much money into Call of Duty unless Call of Duty does some like radical shift into esports. Like they have to figure out what they want from an esport because like nobody's watching COD S&D when you could just watch Counter-Strike.
He's spitting.
You know, nobody's watching TDM because it's like, what are you following? Like, oh, guy spawned, got 2-tap, respawn, 2-tap somebody else. Like, nobody's made, like, COD isn't a game where you're making plays. You're getting like a 4-man feed, you're farming clips, you're making an edit, you're putting on YouTube. Like, the viewing experience of Call of Duty isn't as interesting as a game like CS, like Valorant, like Rainbow, right? It's, and then you could argue the same thing for Quake, but Quake and Titanfall as movement shooters have a whole different realm of, you know, mechanics and things like that. Because like, oh, you know, I'm playing Quake. You're playing Quake. You're getting fragged every 2 seconds, man. You don't know shit about the movie. You don't know shit about the tech. This is another episode.
He's gonna say the word map control.
This is a whole nother episode on.
He's gonna talk about proper routing on B-Hop.
Fuck, dude. Like the spawns, weapon spawns, armor spawns. Fucking tap strafing around a corner to get like hitting a shot on a railgun in Quake is infinitely cooler than like anything in a COD game to watch visually, right? You could say, oh, trick shots, everything. If trick shots weren't staged, they'd be sick, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like if you weren't like on a lobby with like 80 other people doing the same thing, trying to hit like YY 360s, you know, I'd be more impressed. Like if it was natural, if it happened organically in a match, right? The times that it does, it's super sick because it's like, oh, I got the final kill because I like nosedived out of Nuketown, spun around and got a guy through a wall. Like that's sick, right? Yeah, but hitting crane shots isn't anything like spectacular.
No, yeah. When you do the crane 360 to Suicide Boys Antarctica,
and before somebody's in the comments like, well, I want to see you do it. It's like, okay, dude, you're like 40. You've been doing this for too long.
Stop listening to Suicide Boys. Stop it. Yeah, I guess to bring it home, like, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's shitty. Like to reiterate, like I said, I feel like we want to not dedicate to League of Legends. We want to tell all of the League of Legends fans
to jump ship and go elsewhere because we don't care about them.
And meanwhile, we're paying X number of TikTok stars X amount of dollars. And like I said, if you can prove to me that like those people are actually more lucrative to your business than your League of Legends team, fine. Show me that.
Yeah.
But also, let's say it. If you want to be the content org, stop saying you aren't. Like,
yeah, no.
Stop being like, oh, everybody calls us a hoodie org and that's shitty. You're doing that. You are that though. Like,
you are that. You have no teams.
Yeah.
You have no teams.
I don't know what to say. Yeah, if you're not gonna put in the money and the time to field rosters in these games,
guess what?
Like,
EG's still beating you in Val. Like, it's not like you have no teams. You exist in COD. And I'm pretty sure like FaZe is still better. I don't know the stats on that.
The only thing I know right now is their current COD roster. Apparently, like I said,
it's like a super team.
Out of my element, yeah, they put together a God roster.
Okay, listen, that might be the case. Nate Shot, don't come for me. He's got lawyers and money, and I don't. So
true and real.
I take everything back. 100 Thieves is doing everything right, and
fuck you.
Zero criticism.
I'll say it. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. Get back to the McDonald's, motherfucker.
Put the fries in the bag, Nate Shot. Oh man.
Hope your burger flip is as good as your trick shot. You know what's happening probably at this moment that we're talking about it?
The WoW thing? No,
Blink Respawn, bro.
Oh shit.
The Dominican Republic Super Premiere.
Hell yeah.
I'm curious.
The outro will be some bachata for today then.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think they're down to top 8. But yeah, no, basically the next, maybe the last one. No, there's one other Capcom qualifier offline event after this. But yeah, Blink Respawn is one of them, and I think grand finals for that.
Right on. Yeah. Keep it locked here on Hotkeys Esports. For all the esports hating, news, scores, happenings.
Think pieces.
I didn't have any more song references ready for the end of this outside the bachata thing, so I think I'm just going to end it cold. Phase up.